Now imagine if you could make $15,000 a month by just copying somebody. And no, I'm not talking about trading, I'm not talking about crypto. There's a new business model that nobody really knows about. This is my student Robson. Hello. So Robson is from the UK, he now lives here in Dubai, and he's gonna share his entire story on how he's been able to achieve amazing success with Onlyfans management. So, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody first?
I'm Robson. I'm from Wales. I moved to Dubai probably about coming up to a year now, and well, I joined your or in about 3.5 months ago. I haven't looked back, to be honest.
Good. So we'll share all of Robson's stories in this entire video on exactly how he found out about Onlyfans management, his ups and downs, when did he join our coaching program, and how it's been going. But for a bit of context, because this is the beginning of the video and everybody's going to be curious about it. So how much money have you made so far with your agency, and in how short amount of time?
Coming up to about 15k in, I'm saying about 3 months. Yeah.
15,000 GBP.
Yeah, good. Pounds.
15,000 pounds, just shy of 20,000 US dollars in what, 90 days, 3 months?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's break this down on what the fuck is this business model? Who am I? Who is Robson? Why are we in a Rolls Royce? What's going on? Believe it or not, it's not a rental. So, okay, cool. So if you're new here, my name is Marcus Hustle. So I've been doing this little online business called Onlyfans Management for quite some time here. I started in 2020 during the pandemic, and I learned how to make a lot of money by managing other models and creators on Onlyfans. The problem with a lot of them is they don't know what they're doing, and they don't have the time, they don't have a management agency, etc. That's where we come on board and we help them with it. Now, fast forward a couple of years, I've been able to now teach others, just like Robson, on exactly what I do myself personally, and they can just simply copy what we do and make a lot of money. So that's a bit about myself for all the people that are perhaps new here. But for yourself, brother, if you wanted to give people that are watching a bit of context on your story. So you're from the UK?
Yeah, Wales, yeah.
Wales. What's Wales like?
Awful.
What part of Wales, by the way?
South Wales, right down
South
by
Wales.
Cardiff, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's good, but it just rains too much, and it's just it's not the nicest environment to be in.
Yeah.
You know?
What was school or college or uni like for you?
Well, I left. Don't even think I finished secondary school. School wasn't something I was interested in at all.
Yeah.
So that wasn't good, to be fair. But then straight after school, I sort of bounced around looking for jobs, because obviously you get told go into a trade, or electrician, carpenter.
Yeah.
I started working with my uncle for a bit, who was a carpenter. And something just didn't feel like right. He was like doing all that sort of stuff. So then I joined the military in 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Wow, okay.
And done that for a year and a bit. Realised that was just horrible as well. And then straight after that is when I started learning about, obviously, you can make money online. We could see all these people out here making money, and it was just, I tried learning every single thing, like you used to do.
SMMA.
Yeah, SMMA. Crypto, lost a load of money on that. And then just bounced around a few other jobs, started doing door-to-door sales then.
Nice. Similar story.
Yeah.
In terms of the online businesses, what were kind of the first ones that you really, tried for, and how long for?
So it was like a social media marketing company. Tried that for about, I'm saying, 6 months, and it was just a case of you had to wait so long to get one client and then wait another. It was a very long process. And
I remember that. Me too, yeah.
And it was, obviously I was living at home at this point and trying to explain to them, I'm doing this, I'm gonna do it on my own. It was just arguments every single, and it was just got to a point where I was like, fine, I'll find someone else.
Do you think it's because your parents didn't necessarily believe in the fact that you can make money online?
Yeah, it's just a traditional way of thinking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just go to school. Like, she wanted me to go to uni. I said absolutely no chance to that. So then when I joined the military, they were all proud. And then when I left the military, they were fuming again. And then I said, look, I'm going to do something on my own. Just leave me. And it was just an argument every other day.
Yeah.
Always. And it was adding on to the pressure of because
you've got to make it work.
Yeah. And it was just, and I just thought, okay, I'll get a commission only job. So I can again work my own times, work that job as well as doing it. And I just started doing, as you know, door-to-door sales so long. Like, I was outside knocking doors for 14 hours a day. Yeah. And it was just, I was making more money doing that than marketing, so I sacked that off and just carried on doing that for about a year.
The door-to-door?
Yeah,
right.
All over the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, name a town.
Yeah.
Feels like I've been there. And just got to a point where it's just getting so repetitive, and even the towns in the UK just miserable. Like, it's not a nice environment. So I just sacked that off, and then come back, and again it started happening.
Back home.
Yeah, it was just a case of, what are you doing now? Because I wanted to go into property, so I started looking at that. And of course you need capital to actually start all that sort of stuff up. And it's just, again, I was like behind. And I can remember searching the richest places in the world. If I want money, let's move to where money is first.
That's incredible. I didn't know is that what you moved to Dubai?
Yeah, so I was like, wait, guys, I can't remember what I searched. Cities with the most millionaires, something like that. So I was like, if you want money, move to where, you know,
the money is.
Yeah, you're going to speak to people who have money. And yeah, I can remember getting the job then, flew through the interviews, come here, and then I joined Aura in about midway through this year.
We'll get to that, but your story already, that's really, really inspiring and motivating for a lot of people, because I know for a fact, I speak to hundreds of people a day, right? And a lot of them, they struggle with taking that risk, you know. One, taking that risk, and then two, dealing with the doubt of your parents, because they only want the best for you, right? You know this, obviously, right? Like, the only reason why they're like, I don't know if you should do this, maybe switch, or maybe do this and that, because they just want to make sure that you're secure and you're safe. But I mean, it's 2025, you know, we're just around the corner from that. Our job is not safe. This little COVID thing taught everybody, or at least should have taught everybody, that you're just a number. You can be gone like this. So what's more safe, your own income or relying on somebody else? And on top of that, then you have to ask, can we go on a holiday? Like, can I go to the bathroom? Can I take a lunch break? It's like, when you're a full grown man, you know, you want to do your own thing. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, and the door-to-door job also tells me a lot about you, because I done it as well for about a year and a half, so same thing. And before I say it, this will prove that I know what you're talking about. On average, how long did new staff members last in your office? Like new people that came in?
Every other day. It was a constant rotation of people. People, like, they'd say, I'm all in. A week later, you're like, where are you? I found a job in Morrison's.
Same here, so about a week, right?
It wasn't long. Like, if you stayed there for a long period of time, you know you had some sort of desire or determination about you.
So that's what I mean, it tells me a lot about you, bro. And whenever I talk to somebody and they tell me that they've been doing door-to-door for more than 3 months, I'm like, this is a green flag. You're good at something, bro. So this is very good. Okay, interesting. So you've done that, then it was a bit of BS, you know, then you went back home, and then of course, again, your parents are like, come on, Robson, like, what are we gonna do? What are you up to? You know, what are you doing?
Every day.
Yeah. And then you went on Google and you searched, where's the most millionaires in the city? And you found Dubai. Okay, interesting. Okay, so then you moved to Dubai now. Just for a bit of context for people, I know you already mentioned it, but how did that move happen? You found a job here?
Yeah, so I applied for a few jobs, and then, well, of course, you apply for real estate just because they take anyone. But then they were saying about you need a certain amount of sort of like capital about you, because obviously it's commission. It could take 3 to 6 months to actually make your first deal. So then I found another sales job, which was B2B. And at the start, when you first come out here, you're sort of in holiday mode. You know, so regardless of what you're doing, like, it's fine. And you were in the office from 7 till 7. And then you were back in some accommodation, and it felt like a uni accommodation because you were with everyone from the office. So it was good for the first 3-4 months, and then reality hit. And then I was like, okay, my mate's doing like personal training. This other guy's doing like, everyone started finding their own sort of thing, and I was right. I need to sort of find something to go on the side to actually take over this job, because as much as it's okay, it's not what I want to be doing for a long time. And I can't remember what I come across, you know, your video, but then as soon as things just started to fall into place and started clicking, and then and it was a case of that job found out.
Oh, that you were trying to build your own business?
And they started saying, okay, you're allowed to do certain things. Like, they basically started dictating, saying you're allowed
what you can and what you can't do.
And it was just, like you were saying earlier, it's like you're a fully grown man. Like, as much as, you know, nearly 21, you're still a fully grown, you're your own person. It just got to a point where I was negged in the job. It was a bug of the job. Just couldn't find something else. Didn't have any motivation to do it. Like, I didn't really give it crap, to be fair. And it was just a case of, I started fully focusing on OFM.
And when you found my videos about when I'm talking about OnlyFans management, I'm teaching, etc., at that point, was that your first introduction to OFM, or had you already been doing it for a little while?
No, so maybe it was whilst I was in the military, my mate back home told me to get into it. He was like, have you heard about this OFM? And I was like, no. because he knows a few like creators who like does that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and he started trying to explain it to me. I looked into it for a bit, and then it slacked off. And then he told me again in door to door, and I got more interested. But again, I was so busy,
Right.
physically couldn't do
Yeah.
that. I couldn't juggle it.
Yeah.
So again, it like washed off. And it was maybe a day or two before I found your video. We brought it up again, and then sent me your creator's number and said, "Look, she's looking for someone to manage.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. You know, he said you don't. You take so many risks. Rob. Fuck it. What's gonna happen? She's gonna say no, or she's gonna get mad at me. I don't care." And then 2 days later, I saw your video, your Harry's video, and it was just everything started clicking into place. Then I was just like, "Oh yeah,
let's do it. This makes sense."
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it makes. Then obviously going into, because then obviously you start looking at so many YouTube videos. You start looking at all the sort of context behind it, and it just did. It was like, this makes sense. This does make a lot of sense. Like considering I'm working 10 hours a day for minimum. So if I can just get this amount.
You know, let me ask you, sorry to interrupt you, but for people watching at home, and I'm curious as well, what was going through your head when you say this starts to make sense? I already get it, but I just want to know, what was the thought process that was making sense to you to make you go, oh, well, let me actually just try this?
Yeah, well, like I said, with the marketing thing, it was, and even with property, when I was looking into that, it was such a long process just to get one client,
one paycheck.
Yeah, one paycheck. And it was when you were saying with one creator, you're fine. You know, if a creator's making 20k and you're taking 50%, you make a 10k event, then something just clicked, and I was like, okay, imagine you could do that on a bigger scale.
What about 5 clients?
Yeah, what about 10? What about and just going up and up, and then everything else started clicking in. I was like, let's just jump 2 feet in and figuring out.
And you know what's funny? That exact example where you're managing one client that's making 20k a month and you're taking 50%, you're basically doing that right now.
Doing it, yeah. That's what I mean. And it was just a case of like, come on, so fast though. That's the one thing I was a bit shocked about.
Right.
I thought it was like everything. I thought it took a lot of time, and then when I told my family what I was doing, Mum was like, "Oh, think in years, think 2 years, 3 years, build it up like a business. You know, that's how I did mine." And I was just like,
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, and I was like, I understand from generic business point of view.
But this is different.
Yeah, this is different. Like, not a chance. But then to try to explain it to him, it was happening then a bit. Like, just don't speak about all that.
Yeah.
Just work.
Well, when I say I love that, I love the fact that your mum wasn't just like, no, like this is not it. Like you can't do this.
No,
she's like, no, like as a business, you got to think of it this way. Do this. So that's really good. Okay, so that was your thought process when you started learning about OnlyFans management, and you're like, what the fuck, this makes sense. And also for all the people watching at home, especially if this is one of the first videos where you guys are finding out about OnlyFans management, I mean, listen to what Robson just said, and I preach this all the fucking time. Like, think about it. Instead of doing e-commerce, where you have to spend weeks and weeks and weeks to create a website, find a product, speak to somebody in China to broker a better deal, then make sure the website is high converting, then you have to create a Shopify account, then you have to create some ads or do it organically, which is just not going to happen. And then all of that to make what, 20% like profit off of a $7 product that you sold? Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Do you want to make $7 a day, or do you want to make 7,000? Right? And then on top of all of that, by the way, e-commerce as an example, no matter how much profit you make, the idea is you keep reinvesting it. You buy more stock, you pay for more ads, so you keep making more and more money. So you actually never take any money out, in a business like that. Then you look at somebody like SMA. I was doing that as well. Same with yourself. SMA on average, I mean, it really depends, but on average, I would say it takes about 2 to 3 months to get your first client, at least. Especially now, it's getting more and more saturated, more and more harder to get clients. Simply because, think about it, who has done SMA? Everybody. I have, you have, everybody in this car has tried it, right? So it's so saturated, and I could keep going on and comparing it to all these other different business models, but I mean, there is no other business model as lucrative and as profitable and as simple. I wouldn't say it's easy. I think there's a big difference between easy and simple.
But
right? Which we'll get to in just a second, because there is like certain things that make it difficult and so on, right? And there's downsides of it, the same as with everything. But there is nothing else like it, like this. And again, for all of you guys watching this so far, there is an entire free program which teaches you the basics and the fundamentals. It's not the same one that Robson went into, but if you're just starting out and you want a free one, there's a link down below. But we'll talk more about the actual coaching that you invested into, so our paid community, and what kind of value you got from that. So then, in terms of the storyline, we got to the point where you now found out about OnlyFans management. Your friend sent you this one creator, and you took her on.
Yeah. So I started talking to her, took her on, but then in about, because obviously I was still learning, I was like, oh, this is, I don't even think I joined the community at this point. I just had the course, so I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll make something happen. And about 3 weeks went by, and she went, look, I'm packing up OF. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to get a regular job, this, that, and the other.
OF as a whole?
Yeah, just OF as a whole. And this is where I was, like, in my head, it's like, I don't know if you've done it indoors, is I'll wait maybe 4 times, but someone says, like, no, like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Like, you'll try and just eat, like, oh, why? Like, you'll ask them a load of questions. It's just sales, isn't it?
Of course.
And I managed to keep her on for another maybe 2 weeks. So she was like, okay. And I was like, if I don't pull anything off in those 2 weeks, you're going to leave anyway, so it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks come by. I believe like it's something like momentum started building up. You could see more money coming in than once was. And she just said, look, it's not even a case of the money. It's just, it's just personal issues, this, that, and the other. I really want to go. But by that point, I'd been outreaching every day. I joined the community at this point maybe a week after, just because I had so many more questions about the more intricacies of the business. And then like it just started spiraling, upward spiral, just so fast. Everything just got overwhelming at times, which I don't realize like people don't get.
It is so true.
Yeah, like right at the start when you're doing it all alone, it's a case of like if you don't have the willpower, you don't want it, you're not obsessed, but like in a case
all in.
You know, you're gonna feel tired, you're gonna go
or overwhelmed with anxiety, and like, because there's so many moving parts, right? When you just have one client, it's okay. It's just you and one client. But eventually you have 3-4 clients replying, then you have 2 meetings, whilst you still have to manage your existing 2 clients, whilst you're having to hire 4 or 5 different chatters, right? Which is obviously the stage where you're starting to make the money that you're making. Now, if you just want to get started and you just want to make 5,000 a month, which, think about it, bro, like back home, who would want to make?
That was my goal.
Right?
I said that to Steve, and I was like, 5,000 a month is double what I've ever made, 2,500 in a month. I was like, I'm happy with that, just because I'm still 21 building. But he just started laughing down the phone at me, and I was like, I was so confused. He went, bro, you'll do that in the first month if you really want it. I said, well,
like, the thing is, I need you to fucking understand that, because it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it, and I get it, because there's so many fuckers online who are trying to sell their little e-com store course and crypto course and all this stuff, like, and I get it, like, a game is game, but it's annoying for people like me, because this is genuinely actually working, and you're a test of it. Exactly. I'll add Robson's details down below. He's a real person. You can go talk to him. I'm not employing him, I'm not paying him for this. So if you wanted to check with him and ask him, you can ask him in the description below as well. But yeah, it's crazy, right? Because it's like what Steven said is true. Like, we have people coming to us and they're like, oh, I'd like to make like 3,000 a month. And Steven's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean 3,000? Like a day or a month? What do you mean? No, a month. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, let me tell you about OnlyFans management. So yeah, okay, interesting. So then at this point, you just enrolled into just the course. You weren't a part of the community.
No, when I first took her on, I was just in the course, and then a week later there was things like the course, just like the questions you had about the actual the business of like itself. And I thought, okay, and this is where maybe 2 weeks after, because that's when I got fired at the start of October on this job, and then it was a case of, I was like, right, I'm out here, no visa. Like, there was a load of like issues that come up, and I had this one creator. I was in a laptop at some Irish village pub, and I was like, right, I have to chat. I have to make more money. I got paid maybe a quarter of my wage from that, so like $1,100. You know, like you can book a flight home. And then this is where everyone calls me a bit insane. I'm like, right, book a flight home. It's about £500. You'll get back. And nah, I'm just gonna book the jump in the Oracle, not make the money back with this up. Like, OnlyFans. Everyone told me no. Everyone told me you're an idiot. Everyone just was so harsh about this, because obviously you're out here on 30 days then. And it was a case of like, there's no, like I've said to everyone, I've wanted no safety net. You know, I feel like you work more when you know it's on you to make money. And yeah, after I jumped in the course, I mean, I took on maybe 3 clients in a week and a half. So now I have 4. And the amount of times I sat with my head in my hands going, oh, more like, have I made the right decision? Have I made the right, like it does get overwhelming, like anxious, but then it's a case of, see the money start rolling in. It's like, okay, this is what I'm doing it for. Exactly.
That's fucking insane, by the way. I didn't know this story.
Oh yeah, it was a very, I call him, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah.
And any time like that, I just giggle.
Yeah.
Like I remember being in the back of, like they had the big Lincoln, and there was like screens like this, and I started a quarter, like a half my wage to $1,000. I have nowhere to live. I have a laptop and I have a model, but I have questions. Like I have things to answer. And I know in the course, like regardless, because I speak to Enzo a lot. Bro, get in it. Any question I've asked.
You're speaking to Enzo before you joined
the
community?
We've had a good connection over the past 2 months. We speak to each other a lot.
Yeah.
And just everything on those like calls, they're the main bit. Like I'm a very inquisitive person. I have to limit myself because obviously you can only do it for so long.
Yeah.
I have about 20 questions, so I was like, right, what are the top 3?
Yeah.
The top 3, and then I'll ask, and then I'll keep the other ones, and I'll figure the other ones out. And I remember just buying the cup, like jumping into the group. Then I was sat at a pub, like I was a bit.
Were you nervous? Yeah.
That's what I was drinking.
Right.
Yeah, to level me back out, because I was like, right, I've just spent all my money on a course, and now I'm out in Dubai. Luckily, I had a mate out here I could just stay with, and it was just.
But no plan B, innit?
No plan B, no plan. My family was calling me non-stop, stressing, and it was just I believe in the next 2 weeks then I made the exact amount I made in a month in that job, and I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense.
Oh man, I this is the thing that, and a lot of people don't understand, like, oh Marcus, you're so rich, why do you do coaching? And first of all, you fucking idiot. It's extra money, why would you not do it? Like, I'll be honest, right? But the thing is, this is why I'm saying this, is because I get to meet awesome people like you, but not only that, I get to hear the stories on how what we've built has impacted you. And by the way, this is not just me. Like, we have a huge community. Like, I'm sure you get a value from the community as well.
I speak to everyone every day on Discord.
And then we have about 6 staff members, 6 full-time staff members, and behind the scenes, Jack, for example, as well, who does a lot of the calls. Obviously, Harry, the business partner. There's a lot of different moving parts, and I think a lot of people kind of just think about your course is 3K or this, and then it's like, what? Why would anybody buy that? They don't think 2 steps ahead on what you're actually getting and what's the ROI. They just look at it as an expense.
Oh, the return on investment's been brilliant.
I mean, where else can you pay?
Well,
and then
it's either that, or it's like I looked at it as like everything you can find in that course or ask questions about, you will be able to find online.
Yeah.
Like I found roughly most things like after.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of I spent maybe an hour and a half trying to look for that exact question that I was looking for, and I pieced like different bits of sources together and go, oh, okay, that's the answer.
And even then, you ain't got nobody else to like double check. Hey, by the way, is this correct?
Is this correct? But even on the calls, you have, oh, okay, question A, okay, sweet, answer A. Question B, answer, perfect.
So much quicker.
Yeah,
and I say this as well, by the way, to everybody. Even when I used to do the sales course, I was like, bro, you don't need my course. He was like, what? Aren't you meant to sell me? I'm like, no. Like, I'll tell you now, the only reason my courses exist is to save you loads of time. The things that I'm going to be teaching you in there, about 10% are not online, because 10% of the things that I really have figured out myself and etc. But most of it is you can find online if you really want to, somewhere deep down in a Reddit forum
Page
somewhere.
15
That's
what I was looking at.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like I mentioned there's nobody you can double check with if that's correct or not. But the idea with investing into mentorship and courses is you have that safety net, but then also you get to save loads of time. You don't have to go through these fucking forums, page 64, to just hope that you find the answer, you know? In terms of for people watching at home then, so where are you at right now? How is life? Like, what is your kind of day-to-day? And then after that, we'll talk about kind of the next steps and next things that you're working on. Because I think I want people to give a bit more of a visualization on what does your day-to-day look like now? Like, what are you actually doing?
Okay, so that's the one thing I want to tell people is when you're doing it yourself, you're gonna just sleep, don't think about it. Yeah, I took Harry's advice, energy drinks and order food because you're in Dubai. I've ordered fast food I haven't left my laptop, like I've been head just solely focused. It's just a case of wake up, you just do like, you have to develop your own sort of systems, just so, because I have now four clients, but I'm running 5 accounts, so it's a case of like you have to have a system to do each one, otherwise it does get overwhelming.
Of course.
All these moving parts. And well, it's just, my day to day is pretty much just your laptop constantly. That is literally it, and just work. I don't know how else to describe it. You have to develop your own sort of system. Some people do, I send short form content out in the morning just so they can get it, and then obviously I do Twitter, Reddit posts like sometime in the early hours in the morning, because obviously you're 4 hours ahead of the UK, so I was like, get all that done in the thing. But then it's also a negative because I have to stay up until 8 in the morning, because then it works out like 3-4 in the morning in the UK. People go offline. So it's been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot, but it's worth it. It is worth, especially when you're drinking too much energy drinks and that.
You got to go through that phase.
Exactly.
You absolutely have to. I mean, even me, for example, today's Monday, so it's the Saturday. 2 days ago I went to sleep at 7 a.m. Did I need to? No, but we just signed a client doing $100,000 a month, and that took about 2 weeks to close that deal. And because they were in Eastern time, I had to stay up till 7 a.m. our time.
Exactly.
But like, who fucking cares? It's an extra $100,000 a month instantly like that. That's, by the way, another thing. You guys can actually sign clients that are already making like 100 grand a month, and you take 50% of that. Not too bad, right? So okay, cool. So that's where you're at, brother. First of all, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Not only on taking the risks, but also how quickly you've actually found success. I think it's incredible. I think a lot of people don't really deep the fact that you carry on even though it's difficult. I'm sure there's been a lot of upsets, there's been a lot of problems, right? There's been a lot of things. There's already, I reckon, I don't know, right? Let me ask you, have there already been moments where you thought, right, this is it, I can't?
There's been maybe a good handful of them where I thought, okay, this is...
How am I going to recover from this?
But then in hindsight, you're like, it's not too bad. Like, it's just determination. You're like, if you want it enough, you want it enough.
And you know what, by the way, and this is the thing, I'll make a whole video about this on YouTube at one point, but you know what's funny? Entrepreneurship, that's all it is. That never ends. It just gets bigger and bigger, and then your bigger problems overweigh the small ones, and you think back and it's like, why was that even, who cares about that? So that's another thing as well, is when you do actually get to enjoy life, because I know you said you work a lot, so do I, but the thing that people misunderstand is they think, oh well, I don't want to be working 24/7. If that's your thought process already, don't listen to me then. Don't buy any of my courses. Don't start a business. Enjoy flipping burgers, my friend. Somebody has to do it, right? But the thing that I was going to say is when you do get to enjoy life, like how me and you are now for Christmas and New Year's, we actually get to enjoy life. Not just like go to that hotel and buy that present. No, like you really get to buy the best presents for everybody, really thoughtful, put a lot of effort into it, actually travel how you want, stay where you want, eat the food that you want, and that all comes after the hard work that you've done. So
you have to build those foundations. You have to just go, like you said, you have to go through it, otherwise just the first obstacle, it's going to be the most minute obstacle in hindsight. Be like,
you just have to get over it.
You just literally get over it.
No, legend. Okay, Robson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Again, I'll leave all of Robson's links down below. You guys can message him, and I'll see you guys on the next one.